Did you see Nancy Pelosi defend insider trading?
I was just about to ask.
What'd she say? I don't know, guys. I'm doing great at it. You guys should try it.
A bunch of people were freaking out about it. I think it was Crystal and Sagar were doing. I didn't watch it, but I did see the headline that she apparently.
Oh, it's incredible! You have to watch it. It's like
she's just bypassing all the laws to make hella cash.
She looks so.
The reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2020.
Nancy Pelosi's political career received a scorched earth send-off, courtesy of Joe Rogan and Karoline Leavitt. Forget polite farewells or carefully scripted eulogies. This roast tore through decades of double standards, frozen smiles, and slick stock market savvy speeches. They exposed the queen of controlled chaos as the ultimate power hoarder, draped in designer drama and surrounded by endless padded press conferences. If you thought Pelosi's exit would be graceful or dignified, think again. This takedown doesn't just peel back the carefully constructed mask, it utterly vaporizes the myth. Buckle up, because this brutal, no-holds-barred roast gets hilariously savage from start to finish.
Do you see the Nancy Pelosi thing? The new one?
She was being interviewed and then was like, I didn't want to talk about that.
Anderson Cooper. You put that on. Anderson Cooper, he sneaks it in. She's like, I came in here to talk about the anniversary of Medicaid. Like, she cares about Medicaid. She's worth an estimated $400 million now.
How? What's the salary? 70,000 a year?
170 grand a year, something like that. 200 grand a year.
People on this, he doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our...
Joe Rogan and Karoline Leavitt didn't just roast Nancy Pelosi, they turned her entire political career into a 5-alarm fire of public embarrassment. This wasn't some light charring on marshmallows around a campfire. No, this was a full-blown flamethrower, mercilessly aimed at decades of polished hypocrisy, crypt-keeper-level politics, and a personal brand built entirely on Botox, broken promises, and relentless power grabs.
So transparent, and it's right in front of your face, like the Nancy Pelosi situation. She's never made more than $175,000 a year. She's worth $100 and something million. Did you ever see the one where they confronted her about being able to insider trade? You never saw it?
No.
It's wild.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information you received from you?
No. Absolutely not.
Pushes the mic away. The amount of stock trading that's done by members of Congress, the amount of fucking money that they make when they know decisions that are going to be signed and passed, they know laws that are going to be put into place, they know, like there was one recently that we're talking about Nancy Pelosi and the amount of money she invested in Tesla right before Biden signed this EV bill, electric vehicle bill. It's like 1.2 million. Find out if that's true.
Pelosi, clutching her gavel like it's her last lifeline against fading into political irrelevance, stood absolutely no chance. Joe Rogan came out swinging like a fighter preparing for a championship bout, and his very first punch was aimed squarely at her infamous wine cave. Because, let's be honest, this is a woman whose idea of pandemic leadership was hoarding 13 pints of artisanal ice cream, while everyday Americans were out there desperately hoarding toilet paper. She was busy filming crib-style episodes from her sprawling mansion, all while small businesses choked and struggled to survive under crushing lockdowns. She helped push the narrative that leadership, Pelosi style, apparently means letting them eat gelato while the rest of the country suffered.
Agreements. Here, let's watch this because it's so funny.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they...
Karoline Leavitt didn't hold back either. She took one hard look at Pelosi's legacy and saw nothing but a dusty museum filled with glaring contradictions. One minute, Pelosi's screeching about democracy being under threat, and the next she's ripping up speeches like a deranged toddler let loose in a paper factory. It's less about defending democracy and more about fiercely protecting her corner office, lucrative speaking engagements, and endless power grabs. If Pelosi ever had any real principles, they probably fled the scene years ago after realizing she was surrounded by lobbyists, insider trading tips, and relentless political backstabbing.
If you talked with the president at his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress, he obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status of that bill?
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service can...
Joe Rogan tore into the absurdity of Pelosi's carefully choreographed chaos with relentless precision. He highlighted how she always seemed to be leading from behind the curtain, constantly tripping over her own party's scandals, while shamelessly blaming the other side for simply existing. Her political strategy looked less like leadership and more like avant-garde performance art. 1 part dramatic hand-waving, 2 parts orange man bad hysteria, and a full helping of expertly ignoring the inconvenient fact that she's been in power since the dinosaurs roamed the Capitol halls.
Dual stocks.
Well, insider trading is against the law.
Yeah.
How is that not insider trading?
Right.
If you know that someone's going to sign a bill and that bill is going to be a massive boost to the electrical vehicle industry, just as an example, and you know that bill's going to be signed, so right before that bill's signed, you buy a fuckload of stock in electrical vehicles, and then the next day, or whenever it was, that bill gets passed, and then that stock goes up, and you make a shit ton of money. How is that?
Portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire. Years later, Nancy Pelosi can thank President Trump today for the 104% retaliatory tariff that will be going into effect on China. In 2007, Chuck Schumer spoke of our nation's crippling trade deficit, saying these are the kinds of records the American people don't want us to be breaking. The administration needs to move beyond words, take action now to reverse a trend that threatens our prospects for future.
And those performances, every time Pelosi speaks, it's like watching a malfunctioning animatronic from some long-abandoned theme park. Her hands flutter wildly, as if trying to signal a low-flying airplane, while her words slide out in a bizarre mix of smug superiority and completely circuit-fried syllables. Somehow, after all these years, she still sounds genuinely shocked that anyone would question her judgment, as if she wasn't the very person who greenlit a stimulus bill stuffed with more pork than a Texas barbecue pitmaster's feast.